You tell yourself just one cookie, and then the whole box is gone. Sounds familiar, right? You feel exhausted in the afternoon, and you reach for a soda, maybe a sweet snack, just to get through the day. You've tried to cut back on sweets, but the cravings are so intense, they feel impossible to ignore. If any of this sounds familiar, it's not a lack of willpower. Trust me, you're trying. You may be trying. It is science. You might be one of the millions of people who are genuinely addicted to sugar. Today, we are going to go through the 7 signs that sugar has more control over you than you even realize. And I won't just end it there. I will also explain the science behind why it is so powerful. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I am Dr. Oteng. When we use the word addiction, we often think of drugs and maybe alcohol. But the research is actually clear. Sugar affects the same reward centers in your brain as drugs. It triggers a release of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, which is a chemical which creates a powerful cycle of craving and reward. This isn't just about weight gain. This cycle is the driving force behind many of the chronic diseases we discuss on this channel, from insulin resistance and fatty liver disease, even to heart disease. But recognizing the signs of this addiction is the absolute first step to breaking free. So let's count down the 7 signs. Sign number 7 is needing something sweet after a meal, especially a savory one. You've just finished a satisfying dinner, but you don't feel done. Still like your taste buds are calling you, and you don't feel done until you have had a dessert. This is a classic sign of a trained habit loop in your brain. Your brain has come to expect that dopamine hit after a meal. And so it sends out powerful craving signals until it gets it. It's less about hunger and more about satisfying a neurological expectation that you have trained over years. Sign number 6 is experiencing a daily energy roller coaster. You rely on sugar for quick bursts of energy, but then you experience a hard crash an hour or 2 later, leaving you feeling even more tired, sometimes irritable and foggy than before. This is a direct result of the blood sugar spike and the subsequent crash that you experience. When you eat a sugary food, your blood sugar shoots up, giving you the temporary high. But then your body releases a surge of insulin that deals or picks up all the sugar. In fact, to the extent that it even overreacts and then begins to cause your blood sugar to go down or even to plummet. And this crash is what makes you feel awful and ironically sends you searching for your next sugar hit, just to bring you back the energy. It's a vicious cycle. Number 5. Number 5 is using sugar as a coping mechanism. When you are stressed, you reach for a donut. When you're sad, you want a pint of ice cream. When you are bored, you wander to the pantry for something sweet. Now, all these happen unknowingly because they become habits. And this is because sugar provides a temporary distraction and a quick dopamine rush that can momentarily soothe your negative feelings. So if your first impulse in response to any emotional trigger is to reach sugar or to reach for something sweet, it is a strong sign that you have built an emotional dependency on it, which is a hallmark of addiction. Those of you who know what addiction is. All right, let's go to sign number 4. Sign number 4 is that the sweets you used to enjoy don't seem sweet anymore. I mean, they are sweet, but not enough. You find yourself needing more and more sugar to satisfy your cravings. That one scoop of ice cream has turned into 3. You are adding extra sugar to your coffee or tea. This is a classic sign of tolerance. When we talk about addiction science speaks about how your body adapts to whatever drug or chemical it's dependent on, into the extent where smaller amounts that you used to provide you the hit, do not work anymore, and then you begin to demand or need more. That is what tolerance is. And the same thing happens with sugar. Just like addictive substances, sugar can do that. Now, your brain's reward centers become less sensitive, meaning you need a larger dose to get the same level of pleasure or hit. This is a clear sign the addiction is actually progressing. Now, number 3 is feeling the need to hide your sugar consumption. You eat sugar in secret. You eat sugar in secret, you hide wrappers at the bottom of the trash or under the bed, or you feel an immense guilt after indulging. This behavior stems from a place of knowing on some level that the habit is unhealthy or out of control. And so secrecy and guilt are powerful psychological indicators that are very common in all forms of addiction. Anybody who is addicted to a substance becomes secretive about it, and the same happens with sugar. So let's go to sign number 2. Sign number 2 is that you have tried to cut back on sugar before, but you just couldn't stick with it. You set the rules yourself, no sugar this week, but the cravings become so overwhelming that you eventually give in. When you try to quit, you may even experience withdrawal-like symptoms, such as headaches, irritability, mood swings, fatigue, and the rest. These are real physical responses from the body and brain that have become dependent on sugar. The inability to follow, your own rules in the face of these symptoms is a very strong sign of addiction. And the number 1 sign that you are addicted to sugar is loss of control. Loss of control. This is the just one cookie phenomenon, which I mentioned earlier. You have the intention of eating a small amount, but once you start, you can't stop. This loss of control is the defining characteristic of any addiction. Talk to any addict. It's a point where your brain, your rational brain, which knows you should stop, is overpowered by the primitive reward-seeking part of your brain that is demanding more dopamine. If you regularly eat more sweets than you intend to, you are experiencing a loss of control. And that is the clearest sign of all. So let's recap. So you have cravings after meals, energy crashes, emotional eating, a growing tolerance, hiding your habit, failed attempts to quit, and a loss of control. If several of these signs resonated with you, please don't feel ashamed. You are not alone. And this is not a failure of willpower. You are dealing with powerful brain chemistry. Yes. But the first success you have is to recognize that there's a problem. It's the most powerful step you can take. Now, in our next video, we are going to talk about the amazing things that happen in your body when you do manage to break free. It will give you the motivation you need to start this journey. If this one video helped you or open your eyes to some of the powerful, addictive way sugar controls us, then hit the subscribe button so you will not miss the next video, as I already alluded to. Now, which of these signs that we described today surprised you the most? Let's start a conversation. Put that in the comments below. And also, if you know you are addicted to sugar, but none of the signs I shared in this video applies to you, or you don't see any, which I doubt, but if for some reason I didn't mention one particular important sign that you've seen, put it also in the comment section, and let's all learn about it. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy. Thanks for watching.